This is your quote. And Sean, I suspect that you may have something to say about this. It was an indication of how little the studio thought of the movie that I got the job.
That's true. Although, my favorite thing about Animal House, about the saga, is there was a long time where they were developing the screenplay and all this, and the one they finally gave me was extremely funny, funniest thing I ever read, but truly offensive and gross. And I was really hired to kind of supervise a rewrite. And my main contribution was just telling, because it was brilliant, Harold Ramis, Doug Kenny, and Chris Miller.
Yeah.
And the script was brilliant. But like the Lampoon, it was racist, it was misogynist, it was anti-Semitic, and lots of vomit, projectile vomit. But I told the writers when we worked together, and these were brilliant guys, but I said, they can't all be pigs. You have to like somebody. There has to be good guys and bad guys. But that's the secondary thing. The most fabulous thing is I learned that Universal Studios had taken the script that offended me, and they offered it to John Schlesinger, Alan Pakula, George Roy Hill, Bob Rafelson, to shows.
So you were what, the fifth, sixth choice, something like that?
I think 36.
So this cast, then Sean, this was not the cast the studio wanted. Saturday Night Live had made it big, and obviously you got Belushi, but you guys wanted the names from the cast. You wanted Aykroyd, you wanted Chevy Chase, you wanted Bill Murray, you wanted Brian Doyle Murray in the cast.
I want to draw a distinction. There was the senior management, and who didn't actually know who the names you just mentioned were.
Saturday Night Live, by the way, had only been on one year.
1 year.
And the breakout star was Chevy Chase. John and Danny and the rest, Bill Murray wasn't there yet. Brian Doyle Murray wasn't there yet. But Chevy was the big star.
But
That's what they wanted.
John, you thought, no, you weren't interested in Chevy Chase. Did you deceive Chevy Chase into not taking this? This is a great story. I hope it's true.
Thank you for that.
Harold Ramis was from Second City. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were from Second City. Chevy was from the Lampoon. There was the National Lampoon had a Broadway, off-Broadway show. It had a radio series. The radio show where people like, it was produced and directed by John Belushi, and it had people like Christopher Guest and Harold Ramis, Gilda Radner, and my point is just, so Harold and Doug and Chris knew these performers before Saturday Night Live. And when the script was written, Otter was written for Chevy Chase, D-Day was written for Danny Aykroyd, who is a motorhead, Bluto was written for John Belushi. I wanted John Belushi and I wanted Dan Aykroyd because nobody knew who they were. I did not want Chevy because he was a big star. And I'll tell this one story and then don't talk to them because Chevy was riding high. He was like, everyone in Hollywood wanted him. He came out to LA and we had a lunch, you were there, and the producers, Ivan Reitman and Matty Simmons, knew that if we got Chevy, then the studio would probably make the movie. So he was smoking, he was at his most obnoxious. He had a huge cigar, and he was the toast of Hollywood. He was like being touted as the next Cary Grant. So, I really...
It's a tough room to say that.
That's only because it's many years later and you know Chevy Chase. This was before he'd made a movie. And so, I actually made 2 movies with Chevy, and he was very funny in Three Amigos.
I made Flash with Chevy. He's the greatest.
With Tim.
But my point is, I didn't want Chevy. I wanted someone that you believe is the character. Because Chevy's capable of playing Chevy. He's very funny, but he's always Chevy. So they were just, do you know the difference between a brown nose and a shithead? Depth perception. And the producers and the studio executives were just telling him he was a comic genius, and boy, he's got to do this movie, and yada yada. And I knew that he was offered foul play. I think Colin Higgins made foul play. It was opposite Goldie Hawn, who was a massive star at the time. So I said, when it came time to me, and Ivan goes, John, tell Chevy why he should be in our movie. I said, Chevy, if you're in our movie, it's an ensemble. And John Belushi will be in it, and there'll be lots of talented performers. So you'll be part of an ensemble, just like Saturday Night Live. If you do foul play, you'll be like the romantic lead opposite a big star. You'll have your name first. You'll be like a straight, serious, handsome, romantic leading me. But if you're in our movie, it'll be like Clown Car. You know, it'll be like Saturday Night Live. And under the table, Ivan Reitman is kick. I was very rude. Anyway, Chevy turned us down. And foul play was a big hit.
Foul play was a big hit.
Thank you, John. We're out of time.
So, Tim, so then that obviously worked out nicely for you.
Absolutely.
How did
They did not want me to come in. I had, long hair was that period in my life, and the guys in the studio said, no, he's a cowboy or a surfer. We don't think he can be.
You were in The Quest.
I was in The Quest with Kurt Russell, an NBC series, and so they just did not see me as this character. And one of your compatriots, Tom Mount, I'd done a little picture at Universal called Almost Summer as a favor. They said, just get rid of him, just let him come in an audition, say no, and we'll be done with this. And so I got to come in and audition with Peter Riegert, and I've been in the Groundlings here in Los Angeles. And it was my first comedy, and things worked out very well. And but it was great to have John Belushi surrounded by real actors and not comics that gave the story real credibility. And I think the whole movie was played straight and for real, I think, which is what makes it so fun.
part of the way it was played straight was Elmer Bernstein's music, which you just had him score like a thriller, right?
Not like a thriller, but like a drama, like a straight. We can't see you at all, but we just saw the 10 Commandments in this theater. It was fabulous. So Grauman's is having an Elmer Bernstein double feature. The 10 Commandments and Elmer. I went to school with Peter Bernstein, Elmer's son. And when I was 15, Elmer took us to see the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. So I knew Elmer for a long time. And the head of the music department, Harry Garfield, said to me, who do you want to score the picture? And I said, I'd like to talk to Elmer Bernstein. And Harry said, Elmer Bernstein won't return your call. And I remember just thinking, oh yeah. So Elmer came in, watched the movie, said it's very funny, but why am I here? And I said, because I want you to score it dramatically. Which was totally opposite of the way comedies had been scored. The classic comedic scores like Henry Mancini's brilliant score for the Pink Panther. Comedies were scored comedically. And I said, I want this essentially straight. And he did a brilliant job. And by the way, went on to do Airplane, Ghostbusters, Trading Places. You know, Elmer, I ruined his career.
Speaking of music, Stephen, you play a tune in the film.
I was in it. I also wrote the theme song.
Yeah, you wrote the theme song.
Am I the only guy with the delay? What?
No, it sounds, they hear it's fine out there, but I hear it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So you,
Hey! Okay, now it's
Stephen, is this your first time using a microphone?
yeah, it really is, except in the studio.
So you have a great scene in the movie, and I want to talk to you about the theme song, but a great scene in the movie.
I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. Oh, that song?
Yeah, that song. So Belushi Belushi comes, takes your guitar, breaks it against the wall. You look terrified in the movie.
I was terrified in the movie.
Did that go as planned? Did it?
Well, we just kind of made it up, you know, at the time, you know, it wasn't in the script, we just kind of made it up, and I was supposed to originally go downstairs and flirt with Karen Allen, right? That's what he told me to do when I first got there, and then they changed it, and he said, no, Belushi's going to break your guitar, and, okay.
In fact, he knew that he was supposed to.
The guitar was supposed to break easily because it was scored, cut.
Right.
And Belushi thought he would hit it once and it would explode. It didn't. And John Belushi went crazy. And Stephen was quite right to be terrified. And then every time I see it, my biggest laugh line in the movie is when John hands the remnants back. John, they've seen it 40 times. And he hands it back and so quietly says, sorry.
I'll tell you something that's little known that just, you know, happened to me. About 10 years ago, I got this email from the baseball commission, and I was like, why are they contacting me? I don't play baseball. And it was because they wanted to play the scene from Animal House, you know, where he breaks my guitar and incite fans in the stadium so they would play it at different baseball games.
Right,
And they gave me money. And I was like, this is good. More money than I made doing the film.
So, is it correct that you guys, the cast, came out to Eugene, University of Oregon, like a week early, that there was some bonding?
Some of us came out, right?
Right. Oh, you were not included in
Some of
this?
us were not included, right, honey?
No, I came later. John brilliantly had the Deltas come out 5 or 6 days early and bonded, and they did lots of heinous things, and were never punished for it. And then when I got there, the first thing that happened is I went and got my per diem, and then they just in case they change their mind, you're going to have some cash so you can get a bus out of town. And they said, John wants to see you in the coffee shop on the other side of the parking lot of the Roadway Inn. Go over there, leave your bags here, go over there. So I went over, and I went in the door, crowded coffee shop, very crowded. I saw in the corner John, who I knew from having auditioned with him. I knew Bruce from various bars in New York.
And Shakespeare in the Park.
And Shakespeare in the Park, which we did before we went to the bars. And Peter Riegert, I knew, so I saw them, and John said, come on over, he's waving, come on over. So I went over, happy to be accepted into this group of people. I get about 10 or 15 feet from the table, and John says, that's him, that's Niedermeyer, get him. And they started throwing food at me and taunting me and yelling terrible things at me in this crowded room. So I knew where I stood, and I knew what my job was.
In fact, he came in with James Doughton, who plays
Marmalade.
Yes, I remember this exactly because, and I didn't say get him, but I did say this is Mark Metcalf and James Doughton. They're the Omegans, or maybe they're Niedermeyer and whatever, Marmalade and Denim Wall of food. That part is true.
So because Mark's story is consistent with what Kevin Bacon said, who made his, because he said there was always, at the Roadway Inn, there was always a party going on in Bruce's room, and that he was never invited.
They were always welcome, they just couldn't take the heat.
Yeah, Bruce stole a piano from and with Tim and brought it across and put it in his room. I got the hotel because I knew I would not be going to those parties, even if I was cordially invited with an engraved invitation. But I got the hotel to move my room to right above his room, so I wouldn't be able to get any sleep. So I'd stay up late at night listening to them, having a lot of fun, studying my lines like a good actor, and polishing my boots to get me into the mood.
So, I mean, you know, it's funny. I mean, obviously, you guys are all professional actors and take your jobs seriously, but...
Most of them.
Right, sure. They knew the ones that I meant. But so you deliberately didn't go to the parties because you thought that would influence perhaps or take you out of that character.
Yeah, that was I think what John had designed when he had them come early and us come late. He wanted us to live in a place where we could find some authenticity quickly, which is basically what the job is about, I think. Whether it's comedy or drama, you're still trying to find an authentic reaction.
So Deltas did come up a week early. They all got their haircuts together. Right. And they also all, because they all had long hair and beards.
Saw the Deathmobile.
Yeah.
You took us out to see the Deathmobile.
Well, they did the graffiti in the Delta House.
That's right. And we went to Cottage Grove. We had a field trip to Cottage Grove where the parade was.
Which is where Buster Keaton shot the general.
The right room for that reference. Nice to know you're catching on. Don't disparage Cary Grant, praise Buster Keaton.
I did not disparage Cary Grant.
Don't let the facts get in the way of what I just said.
It's a theme. Have you noticed that's a theme?
That's right. This sounds, Martha, very much like it was a boys' club. What was your experience?
As the only estrogen of the group here, I would like to represent it. It was very much, I mean, we really did have that ostracization, is that a word?
That's right.
With the Deltas and the Omegas, but I managed to break through after a while because Bruce's room wasn't far from my room. And I heard the music too, and I love music, so I did go to the parties in disguise. I don't think they knew I was Babs, honey. I went to the parties, we had music.
All women were welcome.
I was going to say. See Bruce saying, I'm sorry. Only our fraternity members are allowed in.
It was an extraordinary company of actors. And it really was. A lot of them, more than half the cast, it was their first movie. And others were, I'm trying to think, Donald Sutherland and Cesare DeNova, and especially John Vernon were old veterans. And Verna Bloom, we had a wonderful cast.
And Stephen First also was such a critical part of the movie. And here, go ahead.
I would like to, speaking of Stephen, who I really adored, we did hang out together because we were the ostracized ones of the group. But his wife is here tonight, Lorraine. I would like her to stand up and acknowledge her because we love Stephen so much. I appreciate it.
Lorraine First.
And we all love Stephen. You all love Stephen. He was such a good partner. Thank you.
By the way, Lorraine is the one when the character Flounder says, I would like 10,000 marbles, please. He's saying it to his wife.
So,
Just one other note about this august group, which is, so I'm the studio executive on the movie, and everything about this movie has been a problem. The studio hates it, they don't want to finance it, they don't want to see it made. Finally, we get them to. They had all these weird ideas about who should be the director, but he was the guy, he was the right guy. And we led a precarious existence. So there they are, up on location, preparing to start shooting, and John calls me and says, listen, there's a small issue. The cast actually got into a fight with a fraternity up here.
Here we go.
They had it coming.
Who's gonna start this?
you go ahead, Jim.
No, I finished it. You started. All right. I started it in. Okay. Now, you go.
Short scene. Tim had found some local ladies that would take us to fraternity parties because we had not been in fraternity.
This was like 2 days before shooting.
It was all Friday night.
All for research.
All for research. So we go to where we shot the interiors of the Delta House, and it was a relatively poor house. It was a very boring Friday night, and we stayed there maybe 12 minutes. And then the girl said, we're going to take you to the rich house. So we
You
go,
were with Karen Allen.
yes,
Well,
Karen.
no, wait a minute. We were with Karen, we were with Peter Rieger, and we were with Jimmy Doughton.
Dalton was there.
He was actually with us.
But he
that
ran
night.
first.
Well, you were sitting in your room stewing. Jim was out having
Less
the
conditioned
shit
than
beat
that.
out of him without it.
So we walk into this house, and it's a big house, and there's a lot of music. They've got a band, they've got money, they've got 150 members and dates. So we walk in, I stop to look at a piano. Not that I was going to steal another piano, but I look at it and the guy comes up behind me and says, "You got to get out of here." And I went, "Oh, let me just go get my friends." He said, "Don't worry, your friends will be out." I said, I sensed hostility. So I said, "Sure." And I went outside and I waited a few minutes. The big white enamel front door up 4 or 5 steps swung open. Hurling invective were all these mostly freshman athletic rushes. And here came Tim, and here came Peter Riegert, and then Jamie, who is tall, 6'6", has had a belly full, and they all had cups of beer. And Jamie got tired of being called whatever they were calling us. It was rough stuff. And he went, "Oh, poof," and he backhanded a beer. Now I'm 50 feet away. He backhands a beer.
Okay, I got to talk soon,
white,
don't I?
foamy arc. And then cut to Jamie Widows.
Okay, so you didn't get in the house.
I did get in and I left.
Right, okay. Well, the rest of the group you all went upstairs. There was a room, hallway, and somehow I got to the door, I was the last guy, and a hand went across the door and said, "Where do you think you're going?" And I said, "Well, my friends are upstairs, and I'm Hoover. I mean, I'm just gonna see if I can get my friends."
In a movie that hasn't been shot.
That's right. Charmingly incompetent. That's what you wanted. Wait a minute. So I'm downstairs, you guys are upstairs, Bruce has gone outside, and these guys are circling me. And at one point, one of them said, and it was just fantastic, except it wasn't. He said, "You Hollywood fags think you're going to come up here and steal all our women." And obviously, there's a lot wrong with that sentence.
Tim is thinking,
Yeah. Right. So I was getting scared, and then all of a sudden, much like what you saw a beat later, the upstairs door bursts open, and you guys are being.
We were escorted out.
It's a chain of events.
A herd of drunk athletes on Friday night said, "You can't be in this. Nobody who's not our guest. No other men can be in this fraternity. You have to leave." And I was like, I was being very gracious and said, "Fine, we didn't mean any harm. We'll leave right now. Let's go." I herded all of our group out. There were like 5 or 6 of us. Rushed them down the stairs, and we made it right to the door. I got everybody out. I got out on the porch. The door closed, and then here comes this beer.
The guy says to me on the way out, he throws his hand out to me to shake my hand, and he says, "Have a nice night." And I just said, "Fuck you."
this beer,
That started it all.
this white foamy arc of beer foam covered the entire proceedings, at which point it was like that chain reaction experiment when you throw a ping pong ball into a room of mousetraps covered with ping pong balls. Boom! There goes Peter Riegert. Boom! There goes Jamie Widows. Boom! I see Tim circled by these guys on the front steps, and I'm out there going, "Holy shit, you're gonna kill him." And I literally said to Karen Allen, who was standing next to me, and I was wearing a hat because I was embarrassed that my long hair was cut off. So I took my hat and coat off, handed them to Karen Allen, and said, "I'll be right back." And I walked up there, and it was windy, and there was a big limb right over there, and I said, "Should I pick that limb up and go in swinging? Because they could accidentally kick Tim in the head and kill him. And I'm doing this for them." So I said, "No, if you take that limb, they'll take it away from you and shove it where the moon don't shine." So I go up there, and I'd just come off of a long Shakespeare run. I had a lot of voice. And I made the mistake of thinking they just wanted us to leave. I said really loud, "Let him go!" As I was walking up the steps, and I see Tim now on all fours. Somebody been rope-a-doping, protecting him. And I see him on all fours, and now I reach the top step. Somebody sucker punches me. Bam! I went off the top step. Bam! I land in the sidewalk. I look over and Tim's next to me, and we think somehow we're going to get up and walk away with dignity. We get up and we start walking with dignity.
I said, "Don't, whatever we do, don't run.
That's right.
Don't run. They'll kill us." And we got knocked down again.
And I said, "Timmer, we're going to have to run." And he said,